Okay, Gorkman Go here. Actually, I don't know what part this is, but I'm going to show you the next step, which is shading. Now, ultimately, you could keep this because, as you know, the ponies in the show have very flat colors. But I'm going to show you how to shade. Like, this is an example of Fluttershy. Very flat, there's no shading involved, which is good if that's what you're going for, but I'm going to show you basically how to shade. So this step is kind of unnecessary, but it likes to add a little bit of touch. So what I'm going to do is right now I'm on the layer that has the background of the background of the body. So it's basically the flat color, which is this right here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new layer right above that. Oh, also I know I didn't do that with this drawing, but very important to name your layers because you don't want to have a whole bunch of layers like I did, which is like layer 24, layer 26. That's very bad. You don't want to get into that habit. I did, and I regret it. So basically create a new layer. You're going to make sure you have your paintbrush tool selected. You're going to turn so first thing you're going to do is you're going to turn the hardness. I'm going to show you what a brush that's at 100% hardness, 100% opacity, and 100% flow. And this is what it kind of looks like to me. This is what it looks like. And I'm going to show you one with the hardness at 0. So this is very good. This is very good for shading and coloring, or for filling in color, which is kind of what we did with the secondary color in the hair. And this is very good for coloring. So what we're going to want to do is we're just going to want to keep the hardness or for shading, I mean. So we're just going to edit and undo that. And I want to do the dark side first, because the dark side is cool, like bow ties. Okay, so what we're basically going to do is we're going to select this color here, and because we're going to do the dark shade, we're going to go down to about pretty dark, and I'm going to name this layer DAR. Okay. So now that we have this filled in, we are going to, I'm going to turn the hardness all the way down. I'm going to turn the brush size way up. I'm going to turn the opacity to about 50, just because you don't want it to be very dark. I mean, you want to have it dark, but 50 is about the highest you should go for shading. So I'm just going to kind of paint along the edge. So what you'll notice is that as I'm painting, kind of want to go over it a little bit. You're going to want to turn the opacity down to probably about 30 for the next part and just kind of color it in. Just kind of give it a nice light transition. Once you have that, you can probably turn it up to like 35, 38 or something. Turn the opacity up. And you can just kind of edit step up. And you can just kind of, the flow's too high. You can just kind of make it nice and even. Just kind of go back and forth with the opacity and stuff and just kind of try and do your best to make it shade. So what you're going to notice about this. What you're also going to notice is the fact that there's darkness all the way out here, which you only want it to be shaded in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do Alt, which I believe is Control on a keyboard. And since this is the layer that I only want this shading to appear on this layer. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go here. I'm going to do an Alt or Control click in between the two layers. And that's going to create a clipping mask, which basically says I only want this shading or this layer to show up wherever this shading is. So I can move it out here. Okay, and that's basically going to give me this. Now you might be asking, well, that's only dark. Well, you basically go through and create the same thing for dark. I'm going to just do a clipping mask, and so this is what color it is, and I want it lighter. So I'm just going to go up here. And I'm just going to go to my paintbrush. I'm going to keep it about 50, 50. I'm just going to color the edge. And what you'll notice is, and I'm going to, it's the strongest color because it's the farthest to the side. And you're just going to turn the flow to about 30, and you're just going to kind of color it in. And let's say I went too far, so I'm going to turn my eraser hardness. I'm going to go to my eraser tool, turn the hardness all the way down, turn the opacity probably about 20, flow to about 20, and I'm just going to kind of make the brush bigger. I'm just going to kind of erase a little bit of it because I went a little bit too far. Maybe turn it up a little bit. And that way. And now I kind of have a nice transition from light to dark. Okay. Now that you have that, you can kind of see that there's a transition. I'm going to erase the black a little bit just because it's a little overbearing. There you go. Okay, so once you have that, you can basically do the same thing with the hair. Although what you'll notice is the hair is on two separate layers. So what you can do is you can do a shift click, or if they're separated, you can do a control click, which will actually, a command click on Mac, a control click on the PC, and you can basically just select random layers. And you just basically select, I'm going to do a shift click because they're right next to each other. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a duplicate layers. Sorry, that was delete. I'm going to do a duplicate layers. And I'm going to do merge. I'm going to merge these two layers. So that way it's basically it's just one layer. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a new layer. And I'm going to do, because this is red, so I'm going to go into my red. I'm going to select that color, and I want it to be lighter. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do light. And I'm going to make sure my opacity is 50, flow is 50. I'm just going to kind of color that in. Okay. Oh, I'm on my eraser tool. Make sure you're on your paintbrush tool. Because, oh, and there's one thing with Photoshop. If something is going wrong, it's not Photoshop's fault. It's your fault, honestly. I was told that when I was very new to Photoshop, and it's true, honestly. If something's wrong with Photoshop, it's probably something you're doing. I honestly have never had Photoshop mess up. Okay, and what you'll notice is that it's kind of a nice shade, and basically what that does is, without it, it's very flat. With this, it's kind of nice, and it's got kind of that nice feel to it. Okay, now that you have shading down, I'm actually going to end this tutorial here. Leave a comment. Hey, if you like this, like, comment, subscribe, you know, da-da-da-da-da, what everyone else says. Okay, hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Stay tuned for my next tutorial. Okay, talk to you later. Bye.